Simon Told Helen wins a half length. Zach Manelli second.
Welcome to Greyhound Gossip.
Peaky Blinders start cheering for Tommy Shelby wins the WA Sprint Championship final.
Featuring Peter O'Neill and Leia Ernest.
Mozza moves up to Mermaid Manelli. Fab's Gem 3 deep. Here comes Fab's Gem.
Hard Style Rico by 5 lengths to Simon Told Helen. Third Tommy Shelby.
This segment is dedicated to the discussion and promotion of greyhound racing.
Cindy's Oliver, Rockstar Patriot, Paul Stewart, back-to-back with Rockstar Patriot in the Galaxy.
Handsome Prince, a bolder clear. The former Tasmanian Handsome Prince has won the $1 million chase.
A very good morning, everyone tuned in to Greyhound Gossip, and a very good morning to you, Peter O'Neill.
Very good morning to you, Leia, everyone. Yes, what a wonderful weekend it was, and what an exciting finish it was in the All-Star Sprint on Saturday night at Cannington.
Oh, it was huge, Pete, and I mean, you called all the action. Did you see that coming at all, or was it such a surprise for you coming into the home straight?
Wasn't a surprise because he's a very good dog, and I was sort of very early on. He's from that same litter as King Tommy, and also what's the sister's name from that litter?
Flying Frida?
Flying Frida, yeah, good memory. So they're all very, very smart. And I always thought that he was the best of them. And then King Tommy really stepped up and took his racing to another level. And he is very, very good. He was probably unlucky, King Tommy, not to get through, but that's his style of racing. Up against the field like Elite Machine, Electrified, Crumble Manelli, I thought that because he was young, he was going to be right up against it. But from box number one, and Shorty's always said this, and I agree with him, that box one in feature finals has such an advantage because there's normally trouble going into the first corner. And he was able to jump really well and hold out the other runners. So that was really good.
Yeah, and I thought, maybe he would get through because of some early interference, but there actually wasn't any interference earlier on jumping out from the boxes, Pete. He just got that clear run along the rail. So, great run by Weston Booney, and then his full brother, King Tommy, to run third as well. So Tommy Shelby's pups are actually doing really well at the moment.
They certainly are. And hasn't Electrified been an outstanding chaser? He's won in excess of $340,000 in stake money. That was his 50th start there on Saturday night. He's won 27 times, but he's seconds. He's had 11 seconds, and that's second in the Group 2 All-Stars final on Saturday night. He also finished second earlier in the year in the Group 1 Perth Cup. He's just been a remarkable chaser, and he ran second in a Group 2 race behind JSJ over in Queensland. I can't remember the race earlier in the year. Your memory's better than mine because you're younger than me.
I can't remember.
So that was earlier in the year, and so he's been remarkable in feature races to finish second in so many of them. He's been a wonderful chaser for Crystal Shinners and Steve Shinners. But all eyes were on Weston Booney. Let's go back to Saturday night. Here is the replay of the Group 2 All-Star Sprint.
Ready, racing. Elite Machine came out okay, showing speed up on the inside. Weston Booney, Elite Machine on its outside, Electrified. Then followed by Catchu. In behind them, Runaway to Mars, along with Sneaky Peaky. Well back, King Tommy. Crumble Manelli's last of all as they stride down the back straight. Up around the outside, hitting the front was Weston Booney. In second place was Electrified, who had to check off heels. Then followed by Runaway to Mars. In behind them, Electrified, King Tommy as they come to the corner. Weston Booney up on the inside, Electrified. Runaway Mars on the outside. Weston Booney in front, and Weston Booney wins. Second Electrified. Third goes the way of King Tommy. Runaway to Mars.
I know you had a dream. You said on Greyhound, on the Greyhounds WA webpage last week, you had a dream that Weston Booney was going to win. Was the dream similar to the race call?
Well, actually, Pete, what had happened was I'd looked at the form the night before, and then I said, you know what, I need to revisit this because my mind's not so fresh. So I went to bed, and clearly I was ticking away because I had a dream, not of those dogs specifically, but just of the dogs from boxes 1, 2, and 3, and that the one was going to get a clear run because 2 and 3 were going to have early interference. So I woke up, and the first thing I did was revisit the form, and I'm glad I did because then I ended up going, no, I think Weston Booney has a good chance. So dreams do come true, Ben.
They do come true. You need to get a life, though, dreaming about greyhounds. Let's go to a man who's would be dreaming about greyhounds and also who's going to make the Top Gun final because the invitations were sent out last week, and 4 WA chasers, 3 of them that actually made that final layer of the All-Star Sprint on Saturday night in Elite Machine, Crumble Manelli, Electrified. The other one was Sage to Neil. 4 WA greyhounds receiving invitations to the Top Gun, and Corey Smith's about to join us from the Meadows. Corey, good morning.
Good morning, Pete. We might have to get Leia helping us out with the Top Gun panel, and get the dreams coming across, it might make it a little bit easier for us, because it looks like it's going to be a tough year with plenty of quality greyhounds engaged.
Okay, well, Leia, three of the finals, three of the greyhounds from WA that receives invitations were in that field, and they were beaten by West on Booney. So in your opinion, should West on Booney be receiving a late invitation after winning a Group 2?
It's so hard to say, because just as you touched on before with Electrified, he has won a many group races, and we didn't even touch on the fact that, even at Cannington won a Group 3, so I think that it's not just about one recent performance. I think it's about the past performance, which, as you would know, Pete, you're on the panel, and it's a tough decision. You have to look at all the past performances as well as not just what's happened recently.
Is that a good response, Corey? And there was another greyhound on Saturday night across in Victoria that I think ran the quickest time that we've seen so far at the Meadows on Saturday night, and that was Morton. I know he's only a young pup. He's won, I think, 4 of 7 starts, but he ran a sensational time.
Yeah, I reckon Leia's pretty spot on there. Obviously, we altered the Top Gun conditions slightly this year to become now the selection panel may invite any greyhound deemed worthy in their opinion of a nomination. So we've kind of opened it up for the expert panel and given the opportunity. So we have sent out an email to the Top Gun panel this morning, and they'll make the decision whether we kind of add those greyhounds or not. But on Leia's point, they are probably on the younger side and probably have their best ahead of them, but we will have that discussion with the panel, and we'll go through the correct processes and make sure that everything kind of aligns, and make sure that we give every greyhound the best possible chance to kind of participate in the great race.
One of the greyhounds that did receive an invitation but has already been scratched was the pre-post favourite for the Top Gun with Tab Touch, and that was Postman Pat, unfortunately doing an injury that will keep him on the sidelines for a few weeks.
Yeah, he's obviously already locked in for the Phoenix later on this year. He's the only greyhound that's been locked in for that race at this stage. And I think with just a minor injury, he wasn't going to be 100% for the Top Gun. It shouldn't affect him moving forward. And I think he's still going to try and have a crack at the Melbourne Cup and then, of course, the Phoenix. So nothing too major with Postman Pat. It's just Jason Thompson doing the right thing by the dog and making sure that he's going to have the best possible opportunity. You can't really be going into a race like the Top Gun at not 100%. So I think he's made the right decision for the greyhound, and he knows best. But it is disappointing to not see a greyhound of the calibre of Postman Pat be eligible to be in the race because he hasn't accepted the nomination.
Yeah, it is a shame, but I know there will be a lot of strong greyhounds going around. It'll be very exciting to see both the sprinters and the stayers for the day of the Top Gun, which, in addition, making it a treble of Group 1s. Now there's the Hume Cup that will also be run on the same night.
Yeah, I love the 600-metre Hume Cup, the Group 1. We run the heats on the Monday night. We race on the Monday, which is Melbourne Cup Eve over here in Victoria, and we obviously run that into a triple header of Group 1 racing, one over every distance, which is really exciting. It's arguably my favourite night of the year because you get such talented greyhounds, and the 600-metre Hume Cup always kind of throws up greyhounds that might be stepping up in distance a little bit or stepping down, and there's just so many different form lines that they can kind of come through, and then backing up after 5 days. It's such an intriguing race, and certainly one of my favourites on the calendar.
Have you had much feedback from any participants or greyhound owners, trainers that didn't receive invitations to either the Top Gun Sprint or the Stayers?
Oh, there's always a couple just querying. There's no animosity or anything like that, and I embrace people sending through an email and asking the question, because I'm more than happy to be honest with them, more than happy to send greyhounds through the panel for late nominations. Obviously, the Meadows reserves the right up until the close of nominations to be able to extend a late invitation. So if we've missed one, then we've missed one, and we can cop that on the chin. But there hasn't been too much animosity that I've seen. I'm sure there's a few disappointed connections out there that didn't get an invite, but as an overall thing, we have a panel that is kind of covering greyhound racing all around Australia and New Zealand, and if we miss something, we're more than happy to revisit it and have a look and go through the proper processes.
Corey, last year we saw GRV launch the Dream Chasers Festival, which starts on the day of the Top Gun and then ends at the day of the Phoenix. Can you tell our listeners a bit about the 5 weeks?
Yeah, so it's obviously a massive kind of 5-week period, 6-week period for the GRV, for the Meadows and for Sandown Park. Obviously, we bookend it. We have the Top Gun and the Top Gun Stayers and the Hume Cup on the 11th of November. And then we have the final event, which is the Phoenix on the 16th of December, which for the first time will also have the Group 1 Silver Chief on the same night. So essentially 5 Group 1s. I know the Phoenix isn't a Group 1, but it's a high calibre race. We've essentially got those over the 2 nights, and then Sandown have the shootout, the Cup heats, the Melbourne Cup heats that is, and then the Melbourne Cup as well over a 3-week period from 18th of November to the 2nd of December. So it's as good as racing gets, in my opinion. I know I'm a little bit biased being involved here at the Meadows and in Victoria, but it's going to be an absolute ripper with some coverages on racing.com, and it's such a great time of the year to be involved in greyhound racing over here in Victoria.
Now, Corey, you're in on West Australian radio this morning, and no one from the East Coast listens. So, with the 4 greyhounds WA greyhounds that have received invitations, are they guaranteed to get through to the Top Gun final?
Oh, gee, you're putting me under the pump here, Pete. But I don't know if I can guarantee them. But WA greyhounds always seem to equip themselves well. We saw Sage Tennille win a Group 1 over here, the last Group 1 that we had in the Nationals. So I'm sure they'll get very good consideration. And us over here on the East Coast, we certainly don't downplay the talents and the abilities of the greyhounds over in WA, because they certainly measure up.
Can you just let our listeners know, and there'll be a few trainers that have obviously got invitations that'll be listening in this morning, the criteria. So it not only comes down to the form, but also the group races that they've won. And on that, does the Sandgroper, because it's not a group race, and also the $1 Million Chase, do those 2 races still come under consideration?
Yeah, they certainly do. I mean, any sort of high calibre race comes into consideration. Now, last year and in previous years, it was giving consideration of each of greyhound's current age, prize money value, recent group race form, recent overall form, and recent Meadows form. Now, that's been removed. It doesn't mean that it's been completely taken away and it's not in consideration. It's just a slight change in the wording where we've changed it to that the selection panel may invite any greyhound deemed worthy in their opinion of a nomination. So basically, it just gives the expert panel a little bit more kind of autonomy to invite any greyhound that it deems worthy of a nomination, an invitation, and however you like to say it. And we can have that discussion with the panel, and then we justify it with all those sort of values, the prize money, the group race form, the overall form, the recent Meadows form, all that sort of stuff goes into the mix, and that's why we have a very talented panel to make the decisions and come up with the best field that we can possibly provide.
So Elite Machine's currently $13 with Tab Touch Sage Tennille, the national winner, $15. The other 2 WA greyhounds, Crumble Manelli at $26, Electrified at $26. Amron Boy currently at $5 ahead of JSJ at $6. That's with Tab Touch. I'll just touch on the 2 stayers as well, because there's 2 WA greyhounds that have received invitations. One of those is Couch Surfer, who won on Saturday night. The other one, of course, is a greyhound who ran third, I should say, in the Group 2 All-Stars, King Tommy. So both of those 2 have received invitations. Have you heard, and we'll be talking with Chris Halse shortly, have you heard from the connections whether they've accepted the invitation?
I'd have to double-check this morning, but I'm sure Chris Halse will make that decision and do the right thing by the dogs. And they're obviously coming in with different form lines than a lot of these, so it'll be interesting to see how they kind of measure up. And King Tommy's just such a versatile greyhound, isn't he, to be performing in a 500-metre race the way that he did on the weekend. He's certainly going to get the consideration, and it'll be interesting to see whether Chris does bring them over and have a bit of a look at the Meadows, or whether he kind of stays at home. But I'll leave that up to the trainer. He's a very, very good one at that.
Good on you, mate. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you again next week after the final field has been announced. Will you know by next Monday whether would the contestants know by Monday, or will it be later than that?
It'll be later than that, so we can have a chat next Monday. We will have had the panel meeting, but we've just got to go through the whole processes. So then it's got to get to GRV for approval, and then we'll be announcing the final fields on Thursday the 2nd of November, and then the box draw will be Monday the 6th of November at night during that race meeting, which will have the Hume Cup heats. So I'm more than happy to come back on next week, but I won't be able to give too much away, Pete. All
right, mate. We'll talk to you next week. We'll talk about the Phoenix as well, and also the Melbourne Cup Carnival just around the corner. Thanks for joining us.
So easy. Thank you very much, Pete.
Good on you. Corey Smith joining us, Leia, and we're about to go to Chris Halse. We replayed that outstanding win of West on Burnie. Chris would have been over the moon, and he can answer the question of whether he'll be accepting the invitations for Couch Surfer and also King Tommy. Chris, good morning. Congratulations. Great training performance there on Saturday night.
thanks a lot, guys. It's, it's a good team effort from the crew at home. It was, we were all excited about it, and it was a wrap for Brody handling the dog as well. So it was a good night all around, and I celebrated yesterday. It was good.
Good on you. It was an outstanding field, some outstanding chases. I worked out it was $2.2 million prior to the race in stake money combined for all the runners. One of the strongest Group 2 All-Star sprints that you would have seen as well, Chris.
Yeah, no, it's a cracking field. I think if you looked on Tab Touch, when they put the price up all during the week, there was like $4 favourite. So there was a lot of, and then it was afterwards. There wasn't much between the whole lot. There was a lot of depth in the race, and it was a really good field. A really even lot too. Every dog in that race could have run 29.70. So it was a good race, a good spectacle, and it was a close finish. I think the whole field weren't far between the whole lot. You could go across the line within sort of half a dozen lengths. It was a good race.
You did the same with all three, the two brothers, West on Booney, King Tommy, and also Flying Freddy. You stepped them up after they were probably a little bit tardy, jumping from the boxes over the 520 earlier in their career, and you told us on here on Greyhound Gossip that you'd step them up over the 600 to try and give them some confidence on the arm. It really worked, didn't it? And he jumped perfectly there on Saturday night.
Yeah, look, that's the best I've ever seen him begin. He's never begin like that in a trial, so I can't even explain the 544 early. So, but we'll take it every day of the week when he does it. But, his last section wasn't there like it normally was. But, they would give him a couple of easy days and see how he pulls up. And he'll probably get a week off and, he probably earns it. But, no, it was, as you said, touched on earlier, it was that was a great race, Elite Machine with all the Steve Sinner's dogs. It was just a real good even race, and we were excited to win it. I thought he'd be set last and second last in running and sweating on luck. And when he went to the front, I thought, beauty, this is all right, And the other dog was probably a certainly beaten Tommy. If he gets luck through around the corner, he probably picks up Booney. So it's exciting night, exciting racing, and and a couple of sneaky points.
Yeah, a couple of winners. How many was there? 4 winners on the program?
3.
3 winners, yes. Sneaky Pint winning later on. Did you catch up with Decky?
No, I got a good couple of messages. He's on his outswing at the moment. He'll be home next week. So, good fella.
Now, a couple of questions for you. A, will you be accepting, and it was a really good win also in the following race by Couch Surfer, will you be accepting with Couch Surfer and also King Tommy for the Top Gun stayers? And a second question, were you surprised that King Tommy received an invitation for the stayers and not the sprint?
Look, he's probably... He'd be competitive in both. I've got no doubt about it. But it surprised me that he got the nomination for the stayers straight away. But, just see how they go. The next, I don't know when the noms close. Linda was talking to us on the weekend about we've got the invitations for it. But with Tommy, he's eligible for the Young Stars, which is the week after.
Yep.
Which clashes with the Top Gun. And that's in his own age group, with your restricted racing. So for me, you'd probably keep him here. And if we'd go over with Couch Surfer, but we'll talk. We'll sit down and have the arm adjusted next, probably today actually,
yep.
And nut it out, then go from there. And I think he's been around the Meadows, so you haven't got to trial him. So he's going better now than he was when he was back in Melbourne. So hopefully, we can get him over there, put him in. But I'll let the brains trust behind me work that out because I'm not good with judgment. So I'll let Justin and Linda sort that out, and they'll work it out.
Okay. Have you ever had a dream of your greyhound winning a feature race? Because Leia did last week, and she dreamt that Booney would win.
Oh, really? That's gold. Well done, Leia. But look, I just like the sport, so I enjoy it. Look, it's good being part of every feature race, no matter whether it's Young Stars, All Stars, Perth Cup, whatever. You always want to be part of them. You always want to have the thrill of winning one, and always be a thrill of the whole week build up towards it. So, look, I've never dreamt of winning one, but You know, that's different. But like it's great being in those bigger races on the Eastern Seaboard too. So you have, like we won a couple of Sale Cups and Nationals and things over there, and they're exciting. And when you go travelling with them, it's probably exciting. It's probably worn a bit off of me now as I got older, but it's just great being in the big race and you get a thrill out of it.
Well, Chris, if I have a dream about King Tommy going either to the All Stars or the Top Gun Stayers, you will be the first to know.
Yeah, let Linda know that. She'll know to nom.
Now, Chris,
that's good.
I've always had a high opinion of West on Booney and obviously of King Tommy, but could you split the three of them, West on Booney, King Tommy and also Flying Frida?
Probably not. No, I think I didn't think Booney railed as well this week, so I'm hoping he's all right. We just give him a few easy days. King Tommy, he's probably more versatile than the other three. He's probably going to run the 700 any time you want him to run the 700. And it's like to have a dog like him where you can go, 500 feature race, 600 feature race, 700 feature race, and what's come along, you can put him in every week, and he just pulls up so good. He just like next morning you wouldn't have thought he'd been round. He just comes out and knocks you over nearly. But they're an interesting litter, the whole litter. Nugget and that as well. It's funny they don't know when it's race day. They're all hypo and they're actually really easy to train. And someone asked me yesterday, "Do you like Tommy Shelvers?" I said, "I love them at the moment." I said they do everything right and they chase good. So that's the main thing for me.
Well done on Saturday night with West on Booney. The nominations close at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time this Friday, the 27th of October too, Chris. So when you and Linda are making a decision, you've got till Friday morning.
Oh, right, yeah, cool. Thanks for that, Peter. I'm sure Linda probably knew that, but it was good for me to know. So anyway, we'll probably have a good chat with it and probably catch up for a drink with Justin during the week and work it out and see what he wants to do. And, if he goes next time, I'll probably travel with him if I could. So, I'd like to be part of it next time I'm going over with him. We sort of send him over as a really young dog, and that can either make him or break him for travelling. But I'll probably go with him next time if we go over. So, I suppose you miss a week here and there nowadays because you get a grade 5 700 and a Fred-All 700, and you sort of like you didn't get a chance to go around last week. So, in hindsight, you probably got to go chasing those type of races. But anyway, I'll leave that up to Linda and Justin anyway.
Good on you, mate. Well done. I'm glad you celebrated yesterday. Good luck going forward, and we'll be interested to see who does accept with the nominations closing this Friday for the Top Gun, both the Sprint and the Stars. Well done on Saturday night.
Thanks very much, Peter. Thanks, Leia.
Good on you. Chris Halse joining us, and a couple of decisions that the team have to make. They're good decisions that they get the chance to do that or stay here for some rich prize money that is on offer. And then early in the new year, of course, we've got the Perth Cup Carnival, and obviously still to go after the Top Gun. You've got the Melbourne Cup and also the Phoenix, which some of these dogs could well get invitations to, could get slots. And then we've got our own slot, the Sandgroper, next year.
Well, Pete, it's so tempting when we have trainers on to ask them about the slot race because, for us, that's what's super exciting and we want the best dogs racing here. But, it is quite far away, but people should be definitely getting organised for it if they are planning on either getting a slot or hoping that someone might even contact them to have their greyhound represent them. So it's very exciting.
In the next few weeks, we'll actually have the announcement on who have actually won the slots or have purchased the slots for the Sandgroper coming up in April next year. So that's fantastic news. It's exciting to be involved in greyhound racing at the moment. I must compliment the team as well. Everyone in Australia on Friday morning, right the way throughout Friday, they were actually able to tip, and Ryan tipped it as well, Barrio Beast. Shorty declared it. I was the only person in Australia that said it couldn't win, and guess what? It won. So if I say they can't win, it's one of the biggest certainties of all time. If I say a greyhound can't win, go put your last $2 on it.
All right. Good to know, Pete. Thanks for the hot tip.
Northern Greyhound Racing today, so we'll have the full coverage here on TAB Radio. We'll take a break, Leia, and then after this, you'll be back with Race Day.
I will. Thanks, Pete.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.